this is about, in continuation with yesterday's talk, we were talking about deep cervical fascia, and yesterday we in very detail we talked about the first layer, that is the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. Now we are expected to discuss about the rest of the 5 layers. We are expected to discuss about the rest of the 5 layers, that is the prevertebral, yes, then pretracheal, thyroid, the carotid sheath, and buccopharyngeal fascia and the pharyngobasilar fascia, as we were discussing yesterday. So we are already done with this. Now let's focus on this. I'll revise it to you very fastly. That we talked about the extent. We talked about the extent of the fascia. We talked about the content of the fascia, and content of the fascia was remembered by the formula of 2. Then we in detail discussed about the 4-5 applied anatomical points of investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, which is also known as fascia coli. Fascia coli. This was the discussion of yesterday. So now this is already done. We are going to talk about pretracheal fascia. But for these 5 to be understood, it is very essential that you first understand the interpositioning of these 6 layers. Interpositioning, by the word I want to explain to you that how they are positioned with respect to each other. Inter is not exchange. How they are positioned with respect to each other, this you need to understand, and I have a diagram which we have already shown to you yesterday, but yet if you see this diagram, you will understand it far better. Okay, so wait, I'll use the pointer for you guys. Now if you see this, I'll use the pointer, red color pointer. Okay, if you see the outermost green ring-like structure, which is having 4 brown, as if there are gems embedded here, which are of course the 2 trapezius muscles on the posterior side and 2 sternocleidomastoid muscles on the anterior side. Now let me first give you the orientation of this diagram. See, I am putting it on your left. This is the anterior, this is the posterior, this is your right, and this is your left. Now this is the cut section, or you can say the transverse section across C7 level. C7 level, that is the 7 cervical vertebrae. At that level, when you take a cross section across your neck, and when this is the superior view, you are looking at it from the superior view. Okay, superior view. So when you look towards it, you will get to know that. So that I think I have made you orient with this diagram. Okay. Now if you see the outermost green color, okay, outermost green layer, I am marking it with green only. Can you see this one complete green color? Okay, this green outermost layer, it is the investing layer of the cervical fascia, deep cervical fascia. This we have already seen. Now if you see, I will show it to you in blue, or rather, okay, I'll show it to you in blue. See, this is the thyroid gland, the one I am marking. I have told you. Okay, we already seen this diagram. Now the fascia now this is the thyroid gland, and behind this is the tube, that is the trachea, behind which is the esophagus. Now if you see posterior, now if you see this trachea, the name comes pre means pure, you can say, or in front. So pre is pretracheal fascia. Okay, you will say it is behind also. Then why not? It is around the trachea. Why not paratracheal fascia? It's all about the names. Whoever have given them with this logic. This is pretracheal fascia. Okay, which I have encircled. Okay, and the ones which I have crisscrossed with lines, that is the thyroid gland. Okay, and the 2 round structures behind it, posterior to it, are the trachea and esophagus respectively. Now in yellow color I will show to you that this is the prevertebral, correct, prevertebral fascia. See, I have encircled it here. And the blue colored I have already told you, again I am telling you, it is the pretracheal fascia. I have encircled it on your left side. So, okay, now I will use the red color to tell you that this is the carotid sheath. Now, I have already given you an idea what are these, why are these yesterday. Now, today we will talk in extensive detail about them. And you need to remember one more structure which I will mark in black, that is this ligamentum nuchae. This is the posterior ligament. Okay, this ligamentum nuchae or nuche, whatever you call, it continues as the posterior ligament. Okay, posterior ligament. So this is very, very important. You need to remember this when we will be discussing about the prevertebral fascia. At that time I will tell you what is the significance of this posterior ligament. Okay, so these are the structures we are going to look after in detail now. So you can take a screenshot of this, and you can see here that on the posterior aspect of this pretracheal fascia, which I have marked in blue, I have written this as Buccopharyngeal fascia, can you see? See this arrow, can you trace this arrow? It's here. Can you see this arrow? Just a minute, I'll put it again. See, this is the buccopharyngeal fascia and I've traced this arrow here. Can you see? So this I want to show that it is this part, yeah, this part. Now you will say that the green part, which was the part of the pretracheal fascia we showed, I am telling it to be as buccopharyngeal fascia on the posterior aspect. It is not actually the posterior half which is the buccopharyngeal fascia. It is actually, see, the buccopharyngeal fascia, it merges with the posterior aspect of the pretracheal fascia, or you can say the anterior prevertebral fascia. Now when we will discuss prevertebral fascia in detail, I will tell you what it is. Okay, and we have a separate diagram for this. So I think you have taken a screenshot of this. Now we will in detail discuss for the second, that is the pretracheal fascia. Okay, pretracheal fascia. So I already have a diagram, because these diagrams are very much complicated or complex in drawing and I won't get them in a single shot. So I've already drawn them for you. Okay, I'm using my notes so that it becomes easier for us. Now if you see the pretracheal fascia, I have written here, okay, pretracheal fascia. Now pretracheal fascia, what is the speciality? The main speciality is that it suspends the thyroid gland. This is the most main, see, whatever structure is present in our body, there is some reason why it is present. It has some specific function. Now this deep cervical fascia we are learning from since yesterday. So if you notice that there are 6 layers, each layer is having certain function. Yesterday we discussed in great detail about investing layer of cervical fascia, deep cervical fascia. The investing layer, if you see, we saw the applied anatomy. What is the role? It is forming many ligaments. It is encapsulating or covering many muscles, etc., etc. We saw its role. So similarly today we will be seeing what is the role of the pretracheal fascia here. Now it is suspending the thyroid gland. Okay, this is the main function. Why suspension of the thyroid gland is very, very important? By formation of the false capsule. Why is it important? Because if there is no suspension of the thyroid gland will fall into the mediastinum. नीचे कोई barrier थोड़ी ना, first floor, second floor, and there is a roof between the first floor and the second floor, or there is the roof of the first floor which forms the floor of the second floor in a building. It is not like that. See, if this is the neck, there are no compartments like this, and there are no fascia, forming a floor like this. Okay, this is all in continuation. All fascia this way. Okay, either they go and merge some structure or like this, which you will see about buccopharyngeal fascia and prevertebral fascia. But here you need to understand that if this is, see, I'll draw it to you. If this is the neck, this is the anterior aspect of the neck, this is the posterior aspect. Thyroid, as you know, is one of the superficial structures. And as you can see in this diagram, what can you see? That, see, this is the anterior. I have shown the orientation. This is the anterior, the behind one is the posterior, on the right is the posterior, above is the superior, and lower 2 is the inferior. This is a sagittal section, my dear friends, drawn from the through the mid-sagittal suture. Now if you see that this is the thyroid gland as shown in the diagram, and false capsule of the thyroid gland, as I have written, it is formed from the pretracheal fascia. And this ligament of Berry, when we discuss about thyroid, we have discussed in detail the role of ligament of Berry. It is the structure which is suspending the false capsule of the thyroid gland. False capsule is also formed from the fascia. I told you that false capsule agar hai, then it is formed from the fascia. We saw this false capsule where else? Do you remember in the abdomen? Yes, it is the prostate gland. It also hides the false capsule. So depending upon when it is a true capsule, it is of the own of that organ or of that tissue. But when it is a false capsule, it is formed from the surrounding fascia. Always you remember this. So here this false capsule is formed from which fascia? It is the pretracheal fascia. Okay, and this thyroid cartilage and all this, not thyroid cartilage, sorry, this lateral attachment. Can you see this ligament? Wait, I'll show it to you in blue. I'll encircle it. Lateral ligament to the oblique line of thyroid cartilage. Can you see the arrow? It is here. So this green ligament, again all these are derivations of this pretracheal fascia. See this, okay, and this is continuing further. Now if you take a screenshot and then we will see. See, posterior layer of the pretracheal fascia is thicker, as I have mentioned here. Now next we will see the extent in the inferior, okay, that is inferior relations. Oh, just a second. So we will erase this all. Now if you see in the inferior relation, okay, what have I written? In the inferior relations you can see that it encloses the posterior thyroid veins. Now you will say, when we discuss about the thyroid gland, there were superior thyroid veins, middle thyroid veins, inferior thyroid veins, there was vein of Kocher. But from where this posterior thyroid vein did they come from? So these are the all which drain into the, all these veins which I have enumerated, they are draining into the posterior thyroid veins. Okay, and this pre tracheal fascia, it then passes behind these brachiocephalic vein and finally blends with the arch of aorta. See, if you can imagine, see, this is the thyroid gland, for example. इसके पीछे trachea है, इसके पीछे esophagus है. I will color the trachea completely. Okay, we will try to draw it in the C shape. Okay, this is the trachea and this is the esophagus behind. Now, if you see, we saw the extent. I will use the green color. We saw the extent. It is like this. In green color, I am showing you. It is like this. Okay. Now, thyroid. If this, I will write here T for thyroid. T for thyroid gland. Okay, thyroid gland. Now, thyroid gland is here. Thyroid posterior veins will be, I will show it to you in blue. Posterior veins will be posterior to the thyroid gland. Okay. Now, once the thyroid gland ends, the inferior part, base part of the thyroid, these veins, now this fascia is, जब तक ये thyroid gland है, तब तक fascia is around the thyroid gland. Once the thyroid gland is over, is the fascia disappearing? No, it has to continue. So what is happening? You see in this diagram. See, just a second. I'll use a red color. Can you see this? This green colored fascia here. This green. I'm putting it in red now. It converges like this. Okay. And the veins, if you see, posterior thyroid veins were like this. Blue color. Posterior thyroid veins. So these are covered by this fascia. I am showing it to you in red. These are covered. Shall I put it in green? Okay, I'll put it in green. See, this is the fascia. So this, once thyroid gland is over, the base of thyroid gland, both the the parts of this fascia, they will merge to form a single fascia cover. And this behind you will have the thyroid veins I have shown here in blue. Now this will form a cover. No, so they are enclosing the posterior thyroid veins. Understanding? And then they pass behind the brachiocephalic vein. Now these posterior thyroid veins go and drain into the brachiocephalic vein, and they finally blend into the arch of aorta as written over here. Understanding? This is the inferior relation. I will like to show you one diagram. Just a second. After I discuss about this pre-vertebral fascia, how it goes and it passes behind the brachiocephalic vein and it blends into the arch of aorta, so that you will get an orientation. Now we need to understand one fact, that it is not at all, bilkul bhi, it is not at all attached to the mandible. You need to understand this. Okay. And if you see the relation, that on the either sides, see, I will use this. On the either side, see, this is one point we talked about what happens inferiorly. Again, on the either side, what is happening? It forms the front of the carotid sheath and it fuses with the fascia deep to the sternocleidomastoid. Just now we saw a diagram. Before this diagram, we saw one diagram in which I was telling you that you need to understand with respect to each other what is the position of the layers of this fascia. So I showed you that here, see, here I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you in red only. Here there was carotid sheath behind, if you remember in that diagram. So it is forming the front of the carotid sheath. Okay, and here in the anterior there were the two muscles, sternocleidomastoid, which were covered by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So they form. See, this green color I have already shown here. This green color is the fascia, right? So ये sternocleidomastoid का posterior, मतलब इसका anterior, right? And the anterior of this carotid sheath is the posterior of this pre-tracheal fascia. I'm sorry. Understood? Arey, yeah, see, this is the posterior, this is the anterior, this is left, and the other side is right. So this is the carotid sheath. Should I write it in blue? It's not visible, right? Okay, wait. See, this is the carotid sheath. So anterior of this carotid sheath is the posterior of this pretracheal fascia, and posterior of this SCM, that is sternocleidomastoid muscle, is the anterior of this pretracheal fascia. Hope you understand this relation. Then only you will understand this sentence. Okay. Then we already saw that it is not attached to the mandible. Now, main function, that it provides a slippery surface for the free movement of trachea during deglutition. You imagine if this would have been very, very strong, only muscles, no fascia, there would have been a lot of friction between the muscles and the thyroid gland and the trachea and the esophagus. What is the role of the trachea? What is the role of the ligaments? What is the role of the fascia? You have already learned in general anatomy. You have already learned in the histology. So you need to know that without fascia, this slippery surface would not have been possible for the free movements in the neck. If you want to bend your neck up, you see in the sky. You want to see to the floor, you see it very easily without excess of efforts. Why this is possible? These free movements are possible because the fascia is not stiff. Can you move your hand like that? Can you move your hand? I mean, if you see your hand, you can move it only at the joints. But your neck completely, if you see that the intervertebral joints are such that, and the fascia is such that you can move your neck all around in whatever possible direction. Correct? In all 360 degrees you can rotate it. So along with the movement of the joint, it is the fascia which play the important role, especially the investing layer. Now within the neck, तुम्हारे गले के अंदर, what there are different structures. So free movements of those, like if you are eating something, esophagus it a bit expands. Now the free movement is possible. Is there any space inside? Very free space? No, they are all with respect to each other. They are very much what you can call adjusting to each other. Okay, so if you see the C-shaped cartilage of the trachea, why are they C-shaped and why they are anteriorly? If they would have been posteriorly also, like a round ring, then swallowing would have been a very difficult job for you. Okay, same about this. So I hope you have understood this. The second thing is applied anatomy. If you see neck infections in front of the pretracheal fascia. Front of the pretracheal fascia means where? I will tell you in this diagram. See, I will show it to you in again I will show it to you in red color. See, this is the front of the pretracheal fascia. Okay, pretracheal fascia. Now in this front of the pretracheal fascia, here there can be chance of the infection. Now because there is space and it continues to what? It continues as the suprasternal area. Yesterday when we were discussing about investing layer of deep cervical fascia, we talked about two spaces. One was supraclavicular space and the other was suprasternal space. Now this suprasternal space is covered by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia anteriorly. It forms anteriorly and posteriorly. But here behind that and behind the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia and in front of the pretracheal layer of the deep cervical fascia, there is space. तुम्हाला कळतंय का मी काय म्हणतोय? See, I will tell it to you again. Now I am using a blue color. Okay, wait, blue color. So if you see, this is the covering of the investing layer. You saw the collar-like structure, and here it is the anterior of the pretracheal fascia. There is a space in between. This can harbor infections, and this continues as the suprasternal area. So the infection can spread to the suprasternal area, or tumor can spread to the suprasternal area, and it will manifest that there will be bulge in the suprasternal area. And it can also extend down to the anterior mediastinum. Very simple. Understood? You can take a screenshot of this. Okay, now if you see, deglutition is possible. We already saw this in the thyroid. The ligament of Berry, it does not allow the thyroid. Now next we will discuss about the prevertebral area. Okay, prevertebral area. Can you see this diagram? Very simple. See, you need to keep the very first diagram which I showed you in front of you when you are talking about all the fascia, so that you will understand the interrelationship, or you can understand how they are with respect to each other, how are they positioned. Now if you see this diagram, prevertebral fascia, because every time there is a need that I have to draw that diagram. Now if you see, I have given you the orientation. Actually it got behind this. Just a second. This is the posterior, this is the anterior, and this is your right, and this is the left. I am giving orientation to this diagram. Now, forget about the first sentence, I will tell you how and why. Now if you see, this is the vertebrae. I have written here, cervical vertebrae. I will highlight it in red. It is cervical vertebrae. Okay, this is the transverse foramen. Okay, now I will highlight in green. That is the prevertebral fascia. Can you see the upper green line which you can see? It is the prevertebral fascia. Okay, now there is a fibrous band here, and then what you can see is the buccopharyngeal fascia. I will mark it in yellow. I will highlight the word in bucco. You can see the arrow, I think. Okay, you can see the labelings. Buccopharyngeal fascia. And uske aage kya hai? Esophagus. Now, from buccopharyngeal, the name only you understand, as I told you yesterday also, that buccal cavity to the pharynx, the extension is. Understood? Okay. So, buccopharyngeal fascia, I have another diagram from the textbook, I'll show it to you. But here in this diagram, you need to understand, and I will get back to you that diagram. See, this was the thyroid here like this. Then behind you had trachea, you had esophagus. Okay. And then what did you have? You have the vertebrae. I will draw it in yellow. You had the vertebrae here. And then you had a set of back muscles, neck muscles. Okay, neck muscles, posterior neck muscles. I had already told it to you yesterday. And now, what you have, I told you, I will show you in green color. See, this was the pretracheal fascia. And here was the prevertebral fascia. And just now I told you that buccopharyngeal fascia here in between. buccopharyngeal fascia here in between. If you remember the last diagram I had shown to you, that there was a buccopharyngeal fascia, right? Last diagram. So I told you that there is no confusion of point. If you see here, I have very clearly showed to you that just behind the esophagus, see, this is the esophagus, just behind it is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Can you see, just behind the esophagus there is buccopharyngeal fascia. Now you will say I am mixing the buccopharyngeal fascia and the pretracheal fascia, which would have been like this here. Right, here is the thyroid, and this is the trachea, and this is the esophagus. You would say that I am confusing you. Definitely not. I will tell you what is the difference. Okay, buccopharyngeal fascia, I will tell you the difference in some other diagram. I have one more, but you need to understand that they are buccopharyngeal fascia and the posterior part of the pretracheal fascia. They almost come to a convergence. They almost come to a convergence. They get adhered to each other. Okay, you need to understand this. So I hope you have understood this diagram. And there are a certain number of lymph nodes here. As you can see, I'll encircle them. Lymph nodes here. Yes, this dot, 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 dot. Can you see lymph nodes? Now I put up a star mark over here. Now I'll put a black dot over here. Big black dot. Can you see in front of the vertebra? Just in front of the vertebra, I put a black dot. Why have I marked this black dot? The reason I have marked this black dot is that this is the common site for infection. See, I have already written here. How common site of infection? Because there is space. Wherever there is space, there will be a chance or a place or a site where infection can easily harbor, where malignancies can very easily harbor, and you will see it in the form of swellings. Now behind you have the stiff, whatever column. Then how do you see this, the protrusion or all this? You will not see. This commonly you will see swellings in the front of the neck region. Okay, on the front of the neck region. Now, to understand this further, you need to see the extent or attachment of the relations. Now I have written here that it forms the floor of the posterior neck of the triangle. As I told you yesterday also, that the sternocleidomastoid muscle, when you see to your right, you will feel the left sternocleidomastoid muscle in the neck, the thick part which you can feel just above the sternal bone, manubrium part of the sternum. If you see something is going up obliquely from medial to lateral, that is your sternocleidomastoid muscle. So that the structures which are superomedial to it, the triangle which is formed, it is the anterior triangle, and the triangle which is formed inferolateral to it, it is the posterior triangle, as I already explained it to you yesterday. Now posterior triangle, if you see, it is forming a prevertebral fascia is in the posterior half of the neck. If you cut the neck along the coronal suture from the middle, not along the coronal suture, I mean along means parallel to it. So if you cut it half from between in the coronal direction, you will see that for prevertebral is in the posterior half, pretracheal is in the anterior half. Can you see this? This is the anterior half. Oh, it's not visible. Just a second. This is the anterior half. This is the posterior half. So I hope you can understand. Now if you see that posterior triangle is on the posterior aspect, inferolateral aspect, posterior aspect. Okay, so it is named as posterior triangle of neck. Now if it forms the floor means what? Floor of the neck means what? Floor means what? That all structures of the posterior triangle of neck are on that floor. So this we will study in detail when we will talk about the posterior triangle of neck and anterior triangle of neck, as I told you yesterday. We also learned that the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia, it is forming the, I told you it is forming the roof. So what do you understand? That the extent of the contents of the posterior triangle of neck lie between the investing layer of deep cervical fascia and the prevertebral layer of the deep cervical fascia. समजते का तुम्हाला मी काय म्हणतोय? See, I will show it to you again here. This is the cross section of the neck as per you, what you are understanding. Okay, and this is the investing layer behind trapezius muscle. Anteriorly, I'll show it in blue. Okay, anteriorly it is the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and posteriorly you have the trapezius muscle. So see, this is the posterior half, lower to the line I have drawn. Okay, now this is your prevertebral area, and this is your investing layer. Okay, this is the prevertebral layer, this is the investing layer. Someone is making noises, can we please stop him? It's disturbing all others. Yeah, so if you see this diagram, then posterior triangle content is within this on either sides. I hope I have made you understand this. Okay, now what happened, this diagram, did it shift upwards? Oh, this is the problem. Just a second. Now it's okay. So you can take a screenshot of this. Simple, no? Yeah. So I hope you've understood what I want to explain to you in detail. about this. Now we will see the layer distribution. I'll erase everything. Now you see the layer distribution. See, this is another diagram to explain you about the layers. See this. As I've shown here, this is the anterior aspect. This is the posterior aspect. So if you take a sagittal section and if you view this person from your right, because this is the posterior, this is the posterior, this is the anterior. If you see this person, just a second. Yeah, if you see this person in extensive detail, this is the vertebral column. The rectangular boxes, what I have shown, they are the thoracic, the cervical vertebrae. They are the cervical vertebrae. Okay, see, this is just the cross. We are seeing the section. This is the neck, only neck. Okay, don't consider that this is your complete vertebral column. No, not at all. It is just the neck. And these are the 7 cervical, 6 I have drawn here. So the first C1 is very much near to the skull, so you can't see it. These are the 7. The C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. These are the 7 cervical vertebrae. So if you see what is the posterior most layer, I'll show it to you in yellow color. See, I have labeled this here. First, I will highlight this. See, pretracheal fascia. I have written posterior layer of the pretracheal fascia. Now you need to understand. See this. This is the. Okay. Are you getting posterior layer of the pretracheal fascia? Prevertebral. I'm sorry. Prevertebral. Please pardon me. It's prevertebral. Okay. Now you need to understand that prevertebral fascia is divided into posterior layer and anterior layer. So there is a space. Can you see this? I will circle it with. I will first highlight this in green. Now I will circle this. Can you see this arrow? Just next to the yellow line. Oh, just sorry. Wait. See. I think the arrow is far visible. I need not draw it again over it. Okay. Prevertebral fascia. If you see, this is the posterior most layer. Just a second. I'll use the color so that you will understand. Remember it like that. See this yellow color. Can you see? This is the continuation. You can see this is the posterior of prevertebral fascia. Now there is a space, and then space के आगे क्या है? I am highlighting it using green color. Okay, the alar fascia. Alar fascia is another name for anterior layer of prevertebral fascia. Can you see the arrow? Can you see this here? Can you see this? Now the space between the two, I will use a blue highlighter. See the space between the two, it is nothing but the danger space. Why it is called the danger space? Because it is the site for infection. Understood? It is the site. ऊपर मैंने triangle दिखाया था. Can you recall this? Can you recall this? See, wait for a while. See this dot which I am making and site for infection what I had written. This is. Are you getting now? In extensive detail. Prevertebral fascia का posterior layer और anterior layer के बीच में anterior layer which is also known as the alar fascia. Between these two, what you have is the danger space because most prone to. Absolutely correct. Most prone to. Just a second. I'll fix it for you. Yeah, it's now fixed. Most prone to what? Infections. Absolutely. Now, if you understand this, next you need to understand that this, I'll show it in red now. Just a second. Let me fix it for you. No, it's not fixed up. Yeah, it's fixed up now. Now, if you see this retropharyngeal space, I'll highlight it. Retropharyngeal space means what? Retro means behind. Pharyngeal is pharynx. So you saw that esophagus and pharynx, the oropharynx, it will be somewhere here. And so retropharyngeal space is the name. And this buccopharyngeal, see, can you see this name? I will mark it in red. This is the buccopharyngeal fascia. अरे नावातच आहे buccal cavity पासून pharynx पर्यंत extend होत आहे. So you can understand buccal cavity is above. It continues to be as the pharynx, oropharynx part. Then it will go into the esophagus. I mean esophagus is not here. अजून थोडंसं खाली. I have drawn a bit incorrect. Please wait for a while. Yeah. See, this is a C7 level, no? Neck. Esophagus somewhere lower to it. So have you understood now? This will be the pharynx continuation. So as I was telling to you that this is the pharynx here. Oropharynx. So from the buccal cavity, this buccopharyngeal membrane fascia is starting, ending from buccal cavity to the pharynx. So behind the pharynx you have the the forming structure is buccopharyngeal fascia, and behind it you have the retropharyngeal space. Understanding? Retropharyngeal space. Can you see the arrow? Yes. So I hope now the concept between the layers from posterior to anterior for prevertebral fascia posterior layer which is सबसे पीछे. उसके भी पीछे there is one structure that is prevertebral space Vertebraच्या पुढे pre-vertebral space, then you have the posterior layer, the pre-vertebral fascia, then you have the danger space which is present between the anterior and the posterior layer. In front of the danger space you have the anterior layer of the pre-vertebral fascia, that is also known as alar fascia. Behind, next to that you have the retropharyngeal space, and next to that you have the buccopharyngeal fascia. And here, you will be surprised to know, I'll show it in red. Here you have which fascia? Absolutely pretracheal fascia, and then this pharynx and all this. Getting esophagus and all this. So you can take a screenshot of this. Now I think its concept is clear about. Okay, now we need to see what is the applied aspect of all this. Oh, it's not going. Never mind, let it remain. So if you see, is someone playing mischief with that? Okay, no problem. So now if you see anterior layer, and I have already explained to you. Now wherever there are spaces available, spaces present, what will happen? You will see that there are more chances of infection over there. Understood? This you need to understand. Now next we will go to the next, that is buccopharyngeal fascia and the pharyngobasilar fascia. Now you need to see this diagram, then you will understand. We will discuss the carotid sheath after this. See, I'll give you the orientation of this diagram. See this. माणूस उभा आहे आणि तुम्ही त्याला असं ट्रान्सवर्स कट केलं, म्हणजे this way. Okay, where did you cut him? Not here. You cut that fellow, poor fellow, and his neck like this. Oh, got erased. Wait, I'll draw it again. See, this is a man standing, this is the neck, and you cut that poor fellow where? You cut that poor fellow here in this neck. Transverse. And you are seeing from front. Superiorly you are seeing, but from front. So, तुमच्या समोर उभा आहे आणि तुम्ही ते मुंडकी cut, you have already cut this, and now you are seeing from front. So, this is the anterior, this posterior, medial and lateral. Like this, and you cut him like this. So, you are viewing it like this. Hope you get this. Okay. हे असं continuation आहे. हे त्याचा गळा आहे. Okay, this is the posterior wall of the pharynx. Now what do you see? This is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Are you getting? Yes. Okay, this is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Then this is the pharyngobasilar fascia. Can you see this? Pharyngo. Now all these names, palatopharyngeal arch, it's a mucus lining. Okay, this palatopharyngeus muscle, then palatoglossal arch, palatoglossus. Palate means what? तुमच्या तोंडात buccal cavity मध्ये जे टाळ असते, टाळ, तोंडाची टाळ, what you call is a soft palate and hard palate. The bony structure which you can feel in the upper part of your mouth just when you enter, by putting your finger you can feel it. That is the hard palate, and behind it is the soft palate. When we will learn about this hard palate and soft palate, buccal cavity, we will we will understand in detail. But palato is the palate, जे तुमच्या तोंडाची टाळ, and pharyngeus is the pharynx. So everything that is starting from the palate ending to the pharynx. Understood? Yes. Now pharyngobasilar fascia, you can see here also the name is. Okay, so it is present. I hope you understand. Now here then you have the prevertebral fascia. Okay, just now we saw the layers one by one, and in that anterior most was buccopharyngeal fascia. Here in this it is the posterior most. Understood? In this it is posterior most. The other diagram which we saw, it was the anterior most. I hope I am able to make you imagine. आलं ना लक्षात तुमच्या? Yes. So now you need to understand the carotid sheath. Again, for carotid sheath also I have one diagram for you guys. It's very simple. You will understand this better when you will learn about this. The carotid artery, the jugular vein. Okay, when you will learn about it, and when the vagus nerve. So you need to see this. The carotid sheath is the condensation of fibroareolar tissue around the main vessels of the neck. Now main vessels of the neck are the jugular veins, carotid arteries, and the vagus nerve. Now formation, see, as I already told you, again you come to that diagram, imagine this diagram. See, this is your thyroid gland, this is the trachea, this is the esophagus. This is a master diagram. You are going to require it everywhere. And here is the vertebra. Okay. Now, if you see, fascia, I'll show it in green. This is the pretracheal. This is the prevertebral. Here you have the muscles of the back of the neck. And here, I'll show it in yellow. Here you have the carotid sheath. I'm showing it big so that you understand. Now, you only see I'm using blue color. Now, anterior part of the carotid, see, I hope you have got the orientation. This is anterior, this is posterior, this is left. In my diagram, what I'm drawing to you. Okay, forget about this orientation. Just a second. So, in the carotid sheath, what all you are having? You are having red colored vessel. Okay, red colored vessel. Then you are having the jugular vein. Okay, here also you will have a jugular vein. You have the vessel, carotid vessel, and in yellow you will have this vagus nerve. Okay. Now you need to understand. I am showing it to you in blue, my dear friends. See this. Anterior part of the carotid fascia is formed by posterior part of the pretracheal fascia. Understood? Anterior part of the carotid sheath is formed by the posterior part of the pretracheal fascia. And posterior part of this carotid sheath is formed by the prevertebral fascia, anterior part of the prevertebral fascia. Are you understanding this? See this. This is the anterior of the carotid sheath which is formed by the pretracheal fascia, and this is the posterior of the carotid sheath which is formed by the prevertebral fascia. Now actually this is not very small. This fascia I have actually shown it is very big like this, because you will say otherwise हे तर lateral ला आहे, तुम्ही posterior कसं म्हणता, medial ला आहे, posterior कसं म्हणता. It is behind, just diagrammatic representation I have shown, because you already seen in the diagram, first diagram which we have already discussed. Okay, now what is important throughout the carotid sheath, what is the sequence of the three structures? The three structures. This is very important. Contents, as I have already told you, it is the internal jugular vein, internal carotid artery. Just a second, we will use red color. Internal jugular vein, internal carotid artery, which is actually common carotid artery, which splits into internal and this is internal. Outside goes the external. See, I have already labeled here, and the vagus nerve. Okay. Now you need to see what is when you take a cross section. Now shall I erase this all? Shall I erase this all? Okay. If you see, if this is the cross section, see if this is the cross section taken, and if this is the orientation, कि हे anterior आहे, हे posterior आहे, if this is the orientation, you will understand that in the, see if this is for the left carotid sheath. म्हणजे if we have taken like this is the left side of the person, this is the right side of the person. Here will be left carotid, left carotid sheath, this will be the right carotid sheath. Now we are talking about this left carotid sheath. Okay, this is anterior. Now in this outside, that is on the lateral aspect, you have the jugular vein. Can you see this? This here will be the jugular vein. And on the inside, that is on the medial aspect, you will have the artery. Oh, I'm sorry. Just a second, everything disappeared. I am telling you about this. So inside, that is medial aspect, you will have the artery. Outside, so when you feel the pulse, carotid pulse, just below your, okay, superficially it is in the neck, okay, just below your, you feel it against the hyoid bone, right? Yes. And this trunk, that is the vagus trunk. This is the orientation. Now at different levels, this orientation is different. Okay, I'll show it to you how. See this. It's not getting cleared up. Okay, never mind. Just a second. So see this diagram. Okay, now you can see this. See, there is a structure called as ansa cervicalis. This I did not tell you. See, I will color it. This is ansa cervicalis. There is a different lecture or session assigned for this. We will discuss how ansa cervicalis is formed. Ansa cervicalis is actually formed from the hypoglossal nerve, that is the 12th cranial nerve, and from the cervical plexus of nerves. Okay, how it is formed, what is the function, all that we will see in a separate talk. But it is on this carotid sheath. Okay, this you need to understand. And if you see this. At the base of the skull, this is the sequence. This is all about this is about left carotid sheath. Okay, this sequence is about the left carotid sheath. Vein बाहेर असते, कळते का तुम्हाला? Vein, artery आतल्या बाजूला असते, that is on the medial aspect. Hopefully you are getting it. So this is the sequence. Vagus trunk is at the base of the skull. Vagus trunk is and posteriorly present. See this, I have written here already. What is the scene? Wait, see, I'll make easy for you. Can you see this? This is the medial aspect. This is the lateral aspect. Lateral म्हणजे बाहेरच्या बाजूला वेन असते, आपण पाहिलं, आणि हे posterior aspect आहे, आणि this is the anterior aspect. Now what you need to understand, at the base of the skull, vein is this nerve, vagus nerve is present posteriorly. Understood? Then it comes, it tilts a bit. Then here at C3, C4 level, if you see, the nerve is lateral most, vein is anterior, artery is posterior, and again sheath which is thinnest over the vein, and again lower to it, that is at C5, C6, C7. When you see, this is the scene. Again it comes back to how it was at the base of the skull. It rotates in between, and again it's like that. It rotates in the sense the contents inside it, they rotate. Now what is the one more fact, that sheath, that carotid sheath, it is thinnest at the vein. So can you see, I have shown this thickness. See, this thickness is more in the artery side, just a thin on the vein side. Okay. So certain point, carotid sheath fuses with the pretracheal fascia and the investing layer under the sternocleidomastoid muscle. You need to remember the very first diagram I have shown you. The ansa cervicalis is in the carotid sheath over the jugular vein. And one more fact is, escaping from the upper sheath, you have the 9th, 11th and 12th cranial nerves and the superior laryngeal branch of the vagus nerve. These escape from the upper part of the sheath. They are a content in the upper part and they escape in the upper part of the sheath. Upper means near the base of the skull. So I hope I have made things clear for you. This is all about the discussion of the layers of the deep cervical fascia. We have in detail talked about the prevertebral fascia, the pretracheal fascia, their applied aspect, their role, prevertebral fascia also, and we saw about the carotid sheath as we have seen just now, and we have also seen about the pharyngobasilar fascia and the buccopharyngeal fascia. So thank you for that. In case of any doubt, you can ask me.